Well, hello YouTube, and welcome back to Julie's Orchids. Lynn Brooks from Lynn Brooks Orchids and I have, well, let me rephrase that. Lynn Brooks has been helping me, particularly with these little PectabenariaWow'sWhiteFairies. She's given me something she references as magic juice, which is a foliar feed supposed to help root growth. And now these little babies here have been taking off since giving them the foliar feed, and they're getting too tall with their foliage to stay in their little container here. Now we do have roots that are growing, and they're not very long, so I think this is the opportune time to put these guys in their own little pots. I have been leaving the lid to this open, mostly because the foliage is getting too tall to fit within it. And so they're getting used to the humidity levels within the house here. And I've been maintaining about 42% in the bedroom. So today we're going to put these in their own little pots and hope I don't kill them. And these are what I'm going to use. So we've got, of course, pre-wet spag moss that I've cut into smaller chunks. And I've got a mixture of spag moss, small Orchiata bark, and Perlite Vermiculite. And there is just a little bit of peat in here, peat moss, because these are a bit more terrestrial. And I want to help maintain some humidity and dampness within the pots. And well, let's go ahead and get started. And so again, we're just using these little seedling pots that I've purchased from Bunnings. And just like the rest of my babies, we're going to give a small layer of the perlite mixture and Orchiata bark, and then a little bit of the spag moss. And now one thing I'm going to point out through some of the internet research that I've done on similar genre plants, because this is a primary hybrid. These little tubers, you can see that they have a growing direction. So you plant them with the pointy end up, and the plan here is, let's take this one right here. And again, you can see how the pointy end is growing. There's a nice little root tip right there. So the plan is to plant it in the pot there like that, and to put some spag moss gently around that little tuber. I'm just going to gently press it in there, and I want to keep it kind of a bit buried, about like that. Now I'm going to put a top dressing of the bark on top, mostly to help keep the humidity levels and moisture within the pot there. And I'm not packing anything down hardly at all, just giving it a gentle little squish. And so that's the plan, something like that. So again, I've got our little pot here, and I'm going to grab this one. This one I found I had planted the wrong way around, but it is sprouting there. And we're just going to put that pointing up in the pot and gently put some spag moss around and then a small top dressing of bark. And I will be keeping these in in the green tray with the other Acioclades that I just unplast with the top on. So this one here again is quite small, but I had accidentally planted it upside down. So the growing tip was not being exposed to light and air. And since I've turned it around, you can see that it is now starting to grow. And I guess one thing I'd like to point out is the bottom of the pots do have holes in them, so when I water, the water will soak up this way, and then I don't worry about getting the water in between the crown. And again, I'm putting about 1/4 of the seedling cup with Orchiata bark and the Perlite mixture, and then I'm filling it to about 1/2 with spag. And this one here has a nice little root tip growing down, and I'm doing this now because I don't want to damage the roots once they really start taking off. So I'm just going to very carefully kind of get this seated in a more upright position. And again, we're just going to rest some spag gently around. And I'm not cramming it down hard, I'm just gently pressing it in there. And then lastly, again, a small layer of Perlite, Vermiculite, and Orchiata bark, just to help keep the underlying spag moss wet and help reduce the fungus gnats, which are pretty well, if we have fruit in the house anywhere, we have fungus gnats. So we've got that one there. And I think you guys have the idea of how I'm going to go about this, so I'm going to finish potting all these little babies up. And there we have it. All of the Pectabenaria babies are in their own individual pots. I was quite pleasantly surprised at how many of them had little tiny root nubbins started. So I very, very carefully placed the spag moss around the tubers and then gently covered the tops with some Orchiata bark. Again, we're bottom feeding these because of the holes in the bottom of the pot, so to avoid getting water in the crowns, I just pour water in the trays and let everything soak up on through. These guys are going to go back in their respective growing places. This one, I'm not sure how I'm going to put a lid on it. I didn't realize I had this many of them. I'm quite happy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Got 20 of them out of a flask of 45. So I guess not too bad. Again, thank you very kindly for watching. I'll do some updates on all of the babies as their 1-month anniversaries come up. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. A subscribe would be great. Thank you very much for watching, and everyone have a happy, healthy, safe day. Cheers!